What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. If you guys are new here, my name is So I have switched from yerba mate to coffee for the time being. And the reason being is simply because I can make my coffee taste better than I can the yerba mate. And I don't know if you guys have had yerba mate. I've been trying to tell you guys to get on the train. But when you have yerba mate, it has such a strong flavor. And I can drink it plain. Do I prefer to drink it plain? No. And at this point in prep, like, it's hard to have plain items. Like, my body is craving sweetness, is craving just everything under the sun. And so the coffee, I can put like sugar-free syrups in it like I just did with like the mocha syrup, and I can make it taste a lot better. That's why I've been having coffee, but as soon as prep's over, I'm switching right back to the yerba mate. If you guys are wondering why I put ice cubes in my coffee as well, it's because I just can't finish my coffee by the time I get to the gym, even though it's like 18 minutes, which you should definitely be able to finish a coffee by then. Can't, because it's in an insulated cup and it keeps it hot. And so I put ice cubes in there because I told Rory about it, and he was like, dude, just put some freaking ice cubes in it. So I did, and it's already cooler than it was like all the other times before. Speaking of the gym, that's where we're about to head right now. We got some chest and traps today. I noticed just yesterday that I'm finally starting to lose strength on this cut for my bodybuilding show. Some of you may know I am on a bodybuilding show. I don't know how many of you guys do know. I've lost 10 pounds over the course of like the past like 5.5, 6 weeks, which is semi-fast, but I'm guessing some of that was water as well. I'm definitely getting a lot leaner. And how many weeks are we out now? We're about a little less than 10 weeks out, so we have a decent amount of time left to go. Yeah, it kind of sucks to see yourself lose strength, but it is what it is, you know, it's part of the process. Right now, we're doing a lot of incline-focused stuff, and then next week, I'll be changing it up. Still gonna continue to do a lot more incline stuff. Just really focus on growing that upper portion of the chest. One of the reasons also that I mentioned in like a long time ago video was the fact that the more you work your upper chest, the more it brings your, it sounds weird to say, but it brings your nipple up.
What?
And that gives the appearance that the chest is bigger than it really is, which is really good for obviously bodybuilding. And so that's another reason to train your upper chest. We'll be changing up the whole workout program next week. It's just, it sucks. Even today I'm weaker. It was just like, yesterday was the day that I began getting weaker. Like last week I was good, and then like this week I've just been all the way down. So this is what it is. I can't really help it. One of the things I'll typically do after my workout, because before I started implementing it, I was like, damn, this gave me a nasty chest pump, is 45 seconds of as many as you can do. And then you go down to, no, it's starting in a minute, as many push-ups as you can do, 45 seconds, as many push-ups as you can do, 30 seconds, as many push-ups as you can do, and then 15 seconds, as many push-ups as you can do. And you want to do that in intervals, so give yourself like 2-minute break in between each interval, if that makes sense. So for the minute, for how many push-ups you can do, in between that you wait like 2 minutes or a minute and a half until you do your 45-second one, and it goes crazy, really works. But I'm kind of experiencing some shoulder pain. As you get leaner, you are a lot more injury prone. So it's nothing like serious, it's just like a little pinch right here. It's nothing serious at all. I never pushed myself if I didn't think it was potentially threatening to me. We're good, everything's good. Now we're simply just gonna do some cardio, and we're gonna go do some schoolwork, and that should not be too fun, the last part.
just at my campus where I go to school. School hasn't officially started yet, but I'm here to simply just get work done. I'm like basically preparing myself for when I have to go from the gym to here to get work done. So I was just finishing that crap up. And I don't know how many of you guys have noticed lately, I haven't been running. And the reason I haven't been running lately is simply because for this bodybuilding prep, I just knew going into it what worked last time, and I have this principle that I go by, and it's, if it's not broken, then don't try to fix it. And that's essentially what I'm doing with this. And I know last time when I got lean, I know it worked for me, and so I'm doing that again. I think, you know, I can definitely run and get lean, but at the same time, I just don't want to take any chances to do something different and then have things like, basically, you know, if it's not fixed, or no, if it is fixed, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I haven't been running lately, because I knew in this video I was going to talk about what we're about to talk about. And, you know, I just also felt like with the leg intensity that I have whenever I've gone into bodybuilding prep is so much that it probably wouldn't be healthy for my legs to run either. So that's a part of the other reason. So yeah, just not running right now at the moment, but trust, as soon as this thing's done, I got some running stuff in the books. Whiteboard time. I don't know how many people translated it over, but just a little heads up, I'm gonna be using a whiteboard in a lot of videos. This isn't the whiteboard I usually use. It's a very small whiteboard. This is like my goals whiteboard, but I just found it down here and I was like, I'm gonna use it because what I have to write down today doesn't take too much room, and on the back, I wrote in permanent marker. And so I can only use one side of it. Also, just a little heads up to people that have been here for a while. Some of the video ideas and like some of the topics that I'm gonna talk about might be semi-repetitive from my old channel, just because the videos that I was publishing on my old channel that were informative like this one, their intentions were to reach other people, and obviously they didn't do that. Like the video, like you guys know why I'm here and why I created a new channel. So sometimes you're gonna see videos on here that may be the same as my old videos, but that's because I'm trying to reach an audience and trying to get people engaged, build a community and whatnot. So you might see that time to time. I wanted to talk to you guys about why I went from strictly bodybuilding to hybrid, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk about it now, just because I'm preparing for a bodybuilding show. Now, some of you guys might be a little confused and be like, well, if you're still bodybuilding, like technically, aren't you still like, you know, bodybuilding? But I don't think you guys get what I'm saying by that for those who don't understand like the whole transition. So for me, I used to just primarily be focused on bodybuilding, and like my whole channel from the beginning was just like bodybuilder, bodybuilder, bodybuilder. And you know, I guess I should start with the first thing, and that's gonna be change. Like as I started to go more into my fitness journey, I was like, I really don't just like bodybuilding. You know, like I would go for runs occasionally, I would play some sports, I would do like a little bit of CrossFit, some sprints on a football field, and I just found myself finding interest in multiple areas, and I was like, I'm not really a bodybuilder. I'm more so an athlete than anything. And so, in other words, like I just slowly started to change what I enjoyed more so, and I think I just genuinely like being more athletic than I do just strictly bodybuilding. Now I hope that makes sense. Like just because I like a whole bunch of athletics doesn't mean that I still don't enjoy bodybuilding. It's just that I don't just strictly hold on to bodybuilding. And the second thing is that I was looking to increase my mental toughness. Now don't get me wrong, bodybuilding offers a lot of, I would say, improvement amongst your mental toughness because you have to restrict your calories. You are gonna get shredded and you're gonna feel like crap. And that means you still have to go to the gym regardless how you feel. And it really helps to basically like train your mind to go through some sucky stuff. But I felt like I had been through that experience, not bodybuilding specifically, considering this is like only my second show that I'm doing, but I've gotten shredded plenty of times, and it's very similar to the process of bodybuilding. It's if not the same thing, except you're just leaving out posing essentially and like peak week. Like I've gone down that route so many times now that I feel like there's just not many more for me to gain. Like it's almost kind of like I've gotten out of my comfort zone and now I'm used to that zone, if that makes sense. Like the zone of bodybuilding is now not uncomfortable. It's something where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Like, I know what to do. It sucks, but it's just easier for me to do because I've done it multiple times. And I felt like, okay, there's gotta be another area of fitness that I haven't like dug into yet where I can gain more mental toughness. And so I was like, well, endurance training, like I know there's a lot of mental toughness in that. And I also started like watching David Goggins, Cameron Haynes and all that good stuff. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna start getting into endurance training. A lot more heavier than I ever have in my past. And so essentially like my mindset on approaching it was, okay, well, I'm gonna use endurance as a way to essentially kind of navigate through life. Or in other words, I'm gonna use endurance to basically prime my brain for when life suffering comes along, because part of the human experience is suffering and we have to be able to endure that suffering. And so I felt like, okay, I'm gonna force myself through suffering using endurance. And you know, hopefully this helps me when I encounter just life's basic suffering that we all have to go through. The third thing is that I was already pretty much hybrid training before. Like I said, I wasn't doing as much miles as I have more so as of recently, but I was still putting like, I would say, how many miles was I doing? I was still doing like 20 plus miles a week in my past. You know, I would say before I ever started on YouTube in 2019, that's when I was hybrid training. I remember every single day of the summer in 2018 and maybe I don't think 2019, but I did a decent amount in 2019. So I was already hybrid training before. And you know, when 2019 came along around the end of it, I wanted to kind of focus more so on bodybuilding, did that. I liked it, but you know, I found myself again, just getting back into it. It kind of goes back to the whole, like, you know, we kind of change sometimes what we like and what we don't like. And I just felt, you know, like this gravitational pull to go back to kind of what I was doing, because I didn't like just doing one thing. You know, I wanted to do a whole bunch of different things and I kind of wanted to keep my options open for myself. Essentially, that's why I transitioned from strictly bodybuilding to hybrid training. Now, again, does that mean that I don't bodybuild anymore? No, it just means that now I do multiple things, or I just go back to what I was doing, which is multiple things. I want to be vulnerable with you guys really quick, because I was just thinking about it with the second reason as to why I transitioned over to hybrid training. And I was like, oh yeah, it builds your mental toughness and whatnot. And I want you guys to understand that it does. However, it does not just solve all of your problems, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying like, oh, you'll just avoid suffering or like things won't suck. No, things will still suck. It will just give you a better handle on it. Now, for me, you know, I think one of the biggest worries I have is essentially being broke. Like that's a stressor that like it's just huge, and not having purpose like that. That is the stuff that is hard for me to deal with. And the translation over from fitness to that has only helped a little bit. But it's helped more than nothing, is what I'm essentially trying to get at. So I think in all, just don't expect this stuff to solve everything. Like you'll still have to go through uncomfortable stuff, but this will just make it like easier to deal with, I guess you could say. Great, I spilled on my shirt, and I literally just changed my shirt. As you guys saw, I was wearing a cross shirt earlier, and then I had to change into this shirt because I got my other shirt dirty. Now I've got this shirt dirty, so I mean, a little bit of soda probably won't mess it up. This isn't soda, some of you guys may know. I've had the grape and the cream soda and the cola and the cherry, and so far, this is the third best. This is the root beer one. And then the second best is grape, and then the first is the cream soda. The cream soda is fire. They got that flavor down. If you guys are wondering what brand this is, it's Zevia, and the reason I take it is because it helps to curb my appetite. It's 0 calories, and all the like flavors are basically natural. I try not to have diet sodas that have sucralose in it because it's not good for your gut health. Taking these to basically just kind of like decrease my appetite while being on prep. That is gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, be sure to give it a like. If any of you guys are new here, do not forget to press that subscribe button because you're gonna know I will be back. With that being said, I try and do 2 love because the sky's the limit. I'll see y'all in the next one.